Hi, everybody, and welcome to 2024. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! We're coming to you from New Mexico, and we're going to be talking about the general aspects and influences astrologically over this coming year. In this video, we're going to be talking to fire signs, so that is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If your sun is one of those signs, or if you have an ascendant, or if you know somebody, or just kind of generally curious, this is a video for you.
Welcome to 2024. It's going to be a highly dynamic year. This is a year of the wood dragon.
The wood dragon, Chinese wood dragon.
And wood is growing, wood is expanding, wood is also fuel.
Expansion, fire.
It's a year of expansion.
Yes.
Now, having said that, a dynamic, expansive year, this is the year that it's really important. It's highly important for us to visualize what we want for ourselves by the end of 2024. How do we see ourselves at the end of 2024?
Yeah.
And
Forget the New Year's resolutions.
Forget about that.
Yeah.
Just think, where do I want to end? Where's the finish line in 2024? What does that look like? What do I want for myself? Right. And to keep visualizing that and make it a picture and don't talk about it too much. The other part about this year, the other advice, which just bears repeating over and over and over, is to understand that words are energy.
Yes. This year, I particularly, and this is advice to everybody out there, to be very critical, to be careful about the critical nature of our thoughts and speech. Criticism of others is actually a reflection on self-criticism, and self-criticism cuts you.
And it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. If you start doing that, if you start to get into your negative self-speak or negative speak about someone else, it will turn around on you. And it will be extra destructive.
Yes.
So self-criticism will erode any progress that we're trying to make. So try to leave that. And this is why it's so important to look back at our prior moon lessons, like the full moon in Cancer. I said, get in touch with your inner mother, that nurturing part of you, because we're going to need that.
The Santa Claus moon.
Yeah.
The balancing of the masculine and the feminine, and take care of ourselves and really cherishing ourselves and moving ourselves forward.
But having said that, it's going to be a beautiful year. And it's also solar maximum. That's the other thing. Solar maximum.
So just to explain solar maximum out there for you. So our sun is not stationary, it's moving through the galaxy, and at this point it's kind of at its maximum point in its cycle, and we are
what's the maximum for its activity, for its flares and its illumination. It's about illuminating information, and it's bringing in more clarity.
It's bringing in more clarity. It's bringing more solar energy and more celestial God information. But keep in mind, the sun is a malefic, and it can burn you out. So this year, it's very, very important that we rest as we can, especially fire signs, because you can suffer some burnout. So rest when you can. Take those moments.
Just remember your words.
Remember your words.
Parse your words and say things succinctly and clearly. Just practice that. Practice it.
And with that,
two things that are happening this year, and this applies to all signs.
Yeah.
Chiron is going to become conjunct with the North Node on February 19th. And Chiron is that
wounded healer.
The wounded healers. That represents the deepest wound that we carry, and the ability to transform that into powerful healing.
Correct.
So February 19th, that's one day. And then Jupiter will become conjunct with Uranus on April 20th.
Yeah. And Pluto is going to move into Aquarius on January 20th.
Pluto, as far as I'm concerned, is in Aquarius now.
It's a 20-year cycle.
And it will be there for 20 years in a paradigm-shattering move.
Right.
Everything will be unmade and remade as far as society and technology, medicine.
From caveman to spaceman.
And it's important for everyone to think social justice. Just keep thinking, what is social justice? What does it look like for us?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, for Aries.
Hi, Aries. So for Aries,
So the first thing is that wound, that Chiron conjunct North Node on February 19th.
North Node is in Aries.
Yes.
So you guys are going to have some major action going on. Chiron is going to be conjunct the North Node on February 19th.
That's right, February 19th.
And so this is going to give us all a chance to heal ourselves through the collective pain we've been experiencing and to help other people.
This is old pain too, and this is
Yeah.
taking new steps, perhaps in your new family,
Yeah.
perhaps with new friends and new love. New steps that will be painful, but they're necessary. And of course, you want to grow in love.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's the first thing to
That's the first thing.
Saturn and Neptune will be throughout 2024 in your 12th house, and that is incredibly beneficial if you are one of those Aries signs who is like a fireball, is always working. Everyone loves you, you get, but you don't have enough you time. You don't have enough quiet meditation or enough space.
Enough offstage time.
Enough offstage time, enough space to just work in quiet, in private. So Saturn,
It's going to give structure
yeah,
to the 12th house, to this like secrets house, to the hidden
to the hidden world
subconscious.
house.
Yes.
Yeah. Saturn will bring in structure. If you're there and you want to create structure and you want to have a little bit of meditation practice, a little bit of just time to work by yourself, for yourself, quiet time, harness that. Jupiter and Uranus will be in your second house.
Money, money, money.
So that's, money, values, luxury, and that's for the first 5 months of the year.
Correct. And then it's going to move after that.
Jupiter will move into your third house, your house of friendships, siblings, communication, new information, short travels.
Right. So, but I think for when the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction happens in the second house, maybe start planning for that in the spring. Perhaps some investments might come through.
This could be some positive windfall.
Yeah, it's Uranus, which is chaos.
It's surprise.
So it's surprise, and it's good luck conjunct with chaos. So there might be a really surprise windfall happening. So if I were you guys, I would just kind of set up for the most beneficial potluck that you can get there. Just kind of prepare yourself for some good fortune coming up in your second house. And then that's going to move into the third house. So then you get to tell all your friends about your good luck and good fortune.
I like that. So for you, Aries, the another tough month is February.
Yes.
February, Mars becomes conjunct with Pluto on February 13th. And then there's the Chiron North Node conjunction on February 19th. And then in March, Mars will be square to Uranus. So February, March, a little bit bumpy.
Yeah.
Then by April, May, April, we have the solar eclipse in your sign too.
Correct.
But after that, the year's going to smooth out. And that's the story for all of us, too. Like, it's going to be a jumpy, bumpy first 5 months.
First half of the month.
Of the year.
And then the rest of the month you get to...
The rest of the year.
You get to sit back, but you get to kind of deal with what happened in the beginning of the year and kind of hash it all out.
I think that fire signs are going to particularly love 2024. I don't want to get out ahead of myself, but I think it's going to be a wonderful year. And I remember last year at this time, I was saying, shit, I just wish we were a year ahead. 1 year ahead. I wish we were right here. But we're here now.
We're here now, baby.
So here is...
So that's Aries.
Leo.
Leo. Hi, Leo.
Hi.
So Leo, speaking of the stage, Leo is going to be having the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in their 10th house.
So that's your career.
That's career. That's public. That's how people sees you.
You might get a promotion if you're happy in your job. There might be a new development, a new position for you.
Yeah.
I guess you could get a new job.
You
too.
could get a new job. You might
But
unexpectedly
people are going to
lose your job.
recognize you. Will recognize what you have been doing.
Yeah. This might be a good time in the beginning of the year to set up yourself for promotions coming up, to renegotiate your contracts.
But all
to
eyes are on you, Leo, and how you show up for your life.
your professional life.
People are really noticing that.
And you guys are so special.
We know that.
We know that. We know that.
The end of May, Jupiter moves into our 11th house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more community, more friendship, more connection. Even new technology.
Chiron conjunct North Node is going to be in your 9th house, traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. That is faith and higher learning. So there could be...
This could be something that shakes our faith. This could really be something that collapses an inefficient system that wasn't really working anyway. Right. Something that floors everything we thought we knew about faith and
higher learning and what your belief systems are.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I kind of feel like the professional life is going to be shaken up, and Leos, which are really a public, happy-go-lucky sign, there could be like a real shakeup in your belief system on how you're performing in the world, and it needs to be kind of readdressed and expanded upon.
But I think a good bit of advice is to just keep writing, keep your journal, find your divine mental state.
Yeah, and watch your words and watch your actions.
And just keep defining social justice and goodliness, not godliness, but goodliness. What do you consider goodly?
Goodly.
What is that for yourself?
As you beautiful Leos experience great success and good fortune in your careers, I think my advice for y'all is to keep it really humble. Don't showboat too much. Be generous with everyone else. Acknowledge that it's a special time for you and that everyone else is not special.
It's a real interesting year because on one hand I say it's such a dynamic year. There's so much dynamism, but then we're saying quiet.
Now,
careful with our words.
Careful with your words and your relationships. You've got Pluto in Aquarius in your 7th house, which is the opposite. So this has to do with karma and relationships and legal matters. So I think that advice of like being humble and being...
I think that's transforming Leo's social circles together over the next 20 years. Right. You might look at your circles of friends and say, well, once upon a time, this was, these were my people, my tribe. But maybe this is a little different.
But now we're doing something else.
But that's a 20-year cycle.
Right.
Saturn and Neptune will be in your 8th house. Your 8th house of other people's money.
Sex and death,
rebirth, structure. Saturn and Neptune, this is restriction, restricted intimacy, trust issues. And it makes us wonder, how do we do this? How do we transform this new system with money and this other person?
Correct.
How do I develop this?
If you don't trust the people that you work with, there's you got to address that. If you don't trust your lover, you're gonna have to address that. It's a refinement.
Yes,
it's a really refinement.
How do I deal with love and money?
Yeah,
they don't go together.
No, they don't. It's a liminal year. We're in a space in between this year, and as we're walking through the 2024, that's why Mike and I are really adamant about watching our speech, watching our criticism, addressing as many issues as we can personally in our growth, so we can expand forward.
That's our whole homework. That's the reason we work. That's the reason we pay attention to the moon, and that's the reason we shed negativity and shed just what isn't efficient for a new year. This is the age of Aquarius.
Bing,
we
bing.
have to be a little bit more futuristic. And Pluto, I'm sorry, Leos. We're going to be operating at the highest capacity. You know, with solar maximum happening, it's going to be a lot of information, a lot of energy, and just don't burn out.
The sun is a malefic. Don't burn everyone else out. We love you guys.
Love you, but speak half of what you speak. Yeah. Just be careful with your words. More silence. More silence, more intuition. With us. And then
Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius.
Okay. Chiron and the North Node will be conjunct in. I was going to say that at first. Chiron and the North Node are going to be conjunct in your 5th house. So that's the house of fun, love, adventure, play, children,
creativity.
Yeah. Opportunity for healing. And this is calling you to be your most playful, childlike, clownish even. So this is an opportunity to actually step into this role.
Right.
But it will also be a bit painful, a bit pinchy. It'll remind you about your childhood.
Yeah.
About the wounds that we suffered. But now we get to remake the world.
There's going to be a little bit of mental dexterity Sagittarius is going to need this year, because this year for you guys, it's not about the big, heavy kind of outer space energy. It's a little bit more terrestrial. Jupiter and Uranus are going to be in the 4th house of daily routines.
No. Saturn and Neptune will be in the 4th house. Jupiter, Uranus will be in the 6th house.
The 6th house, you're right.
Yeah.
But it daily routines.
Should we?
No, let's keep going.
All right, yeah.
No, we're on a roll.
Jupiter and Uranus will be in your 6th house, service and health and your job and how you show up for people. Also health, though.
Yeah.
And this could expand something that you haven't seen about your health. Just check yourself up.
Yeah.
And then after May, Jupiter will move into your 7th house. That's expanding partnerships. It's showing you that you have the capacity to deal with people who have wildly different perspectives. And you didn't realize this before, maybe, but now it's like clear that's just fine by you. Yeah. Wildly different perspectives. Pluto will be in your 3rd house.
3rd house.
Transforming your mental abilities. It's going to take mind manipulation to understand.
Now, 3rd house has to deal with not just local communication and local travel, but it's also siblings.
Siblings, neighbors, short journeys.
It's ruled by Gemini.
Small talk.
So if you think the twins.
Yeah.
And it's also...
And it's very fast.
It's very fast. It's a faster octave than Sagittarius. They're related. But it's going to be like a reconstruction of... This.
Yes, it's going to be a collapse into simplification for you know, for your perspective. That's Pluto moving through in a simpler sign, Gemini. Simpler. So I'm thinking collapse.
Right. So for some people, it might be a little tricky to navigate, I think, because it's kind of a little bit more terrestrial than you're used to. But if you have kind of faith and belief in the small, beautiful moments, the poetry of daily life.
And the small talk.
You know, there's a lot to be learned from the little tiny things. You know, it's almost like a Zen, you know, the purity of making tea, you know.
To pay attention to everybody, no matter how simple they are, because even they have their valuable story. They have their wisdom. Yeah. Saturn and Neptune will be in your 4th house, your house of home. So that's finding that cozy sanctum, that inner sanctum. But then Saturn is there, and that's a contradictory force.
Right.
So, you know, as you're learning how to channel your playfulness, your childlike nature, there's also Saturn Daddy there saying, well, you know, joy, fun, love, that needs rules. Because if we don't have rules, people are going to die. So, like, we need rules.
We need rules. We need rules at home.
Yeah.
Dishes have to be done. Bed's got to be made. You know, the doors have to be shut and locked.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be rules and structure in the terrestrial world
Yeah.
in order to expand spiritually.
Yeah. I mean, we have to make sure that these methods are sustainable, these new patterns.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 We have to set ourselves up for success, don't we?
Uh-huh.
So that's it for Sagittarius.
That's it.
Do you want to go into pulling some cards for the 3 fire signs?
Let's pull 3 cards, one for each. I think we could be bold.
Just one for each. Okay.
And let's just boil down a year to 1 card.
Oh, I like that idea.
Let's be really, really big and bold here.
Be daring.
All right, Mikey, would you
Sure will.
split that? We're gonna pull 1 card for Aries, 1 card for Leo, 1 card for Sagittarius. We're gonna start with Aries.
Okay. Is
Interesting.
this for Aries?
This is for Aries.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The moon. Okay, the moon, this is happening in an eclipse. There's an eclipse happening in your sign. This is it's almost like the year is so busy and fiery and exciting for you, you might not be able to see what's happening unless you kind of take a break and rest.
I think, though, that for many people, you know, the energy of 2024 is going to be wildly different. And we could either go with the flow, we could grow with the flow, or we could resist it.
Right. Like this little crustacean here who's climbing out of the water, and as he climbs out of the water, he becomes weaker. You know, the tide is kind of trying to pull it.
It reminds you of how retreating and hiding and avoiding does weaken you over time.
Yes.
You know, and the path is there through the year, but it's not illuminated very well.
Right.
It's important to listen more to your intuition.
Correct.
More than anything this year, because it's going to look different, and we can't always react and put that fuel back into the collective.
Right. So I got it. We have Saturn and Neptune in the 12th house, and you're unconscious, giving you expansion on your intuition and some structure, and that's why this card is here.
It's permitting you to be softer than you've ever been.
Right. So expect a real dynamic, fiery year. Rest so you don't burn out. And I think Aries isn't really going to know what happened this year until next year when you get review. So don't freak out if things aren't happening the way you want them or as you expect them to happen or when you want it to happen. It will happen. Just, watch yourself and be careful not to run over everybody and to burn yourself out.
Very good.
Okay.
So Leo. Hi. Leo. Knight of Wands.
Knight of Wands.
And this is new growth, right? Because wands are passions.
Wands are passion. They represent fire. If you
can be used so many different ways.
They're very versatile. It could be a weapon. It could be a tool. It could be a walking stick. You can knock someone on the head with it. We have this knight here. Now the knights are, servants of the royal, houses. They do stuff for you. They go out and they kind of wage war and explore. This one knight here is coming into a new territory. I always kind of think of this as like Napoleon going into Egypt, and these French horses aren't used to the desert sands, and they have to kind of pause a little bit as they get their bearing on this new landscape.
Yeah. So this is Jupiter and Uranus in 10th house, moving into 11th house.
You're right.
Expanding your social circles, leading you into new territory. Just brand new territory.
And take a moment, find out what the territory is, find out what your social territory is, find out your economic territory is.
Check your grace. Be humble.
And just see what the situation is before you move into it. For surely you will have a very successful year.
Yeah, I think so. Sagittarius. How's that for fire?
Oh dear. All right. Emperor. So the emperor is the king of all kings.
Yeah, he is. He's got his armor on right under those soft, silky robes.
He's sitting on a square throne. in a very like fiery, molten environment.
Daddy's done the work.
Now, the Emperor can be a little bit difficult if you're a subject of the Emperor.
Yeah. Dogmatic.
He can be dogmatic. He can...
Intractable.
Yes. Advice for the Emperor card is to be aware of the people that you serve and are working with, and to be kind and humble with them. Also, with all fire signs this year, rest. Rest so you don't burn yourself out.
Rest, but truly enjoy the energy. It's a fiery year.
Yeah.
There's plenty of fuel. It's going to be like such a new ride. I
Yeah.
think. Of course, you know, things are going to go sideways. They always do.
Right.
But it's going to be a new kind of year for us.
And so the Emperor can be successful if he's mentally dexterous and can kind of think on his feet and handle...
Is this Pluto in the third house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And handle situations that are coming up which are strange and painful.
It's challenging Sagittarians to think far outside of the box.
Yeah.
For all of the higher learning that they represent, it takes some action and moving with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
To understand your subjects.
Yeah, to understand the subjects, and not just the court, but also the peasants, and the faraway subjects and lands that you barely have ever visited, to really kind of terrestrially, understand the small minutia, because your day-to-day routines are kind of going to be rocked and rolled.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Do you have to say anything else about Sagittarius, Pluto, Mars, Chiron,
Well, they're
Saturn, awesome. Mars, Jupiter, conjunct Uranus, April 20th. We know that. We know that. Jupiter will be Kazemi. That's close to the sun.
It's a sun conjunction.
So that's a fortunate day, May 18th for Sagittarius. Jupiter enters Gemini, May 25th. And then Jupiter will square Saturn on August 19th. That's a day to watch out for. And last but not least, at the end of the year, Jupiter will square Saturn for a second time in the sign of Pisces. That's Christmas Eve next year, at the end of the year.
Okay,
so,
fire
having
signs.
said, I think we're done.
I think we're done with the fire signs. All right, so we'll see you next video. Got the giggles. I'm in such a good mood. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. We love you.